Rule 42. All persons more than a mile high must leave the court immediately.
1, 2, 3, 42.
Today's rule is rule number 30. Sometimes, all we are looking for is someone to throw us a lifeline. Or, kayaking is for everybody.
There was a bull rampaging through Long Island City and Astoria. It broke free from its illegal rodeo. And it was all over the news. It was a crazy story to see this bull running through.
Remember that? That's crazy.
I'll send you
How
that.
old are you, Tommy?
Wow,
It was
damn,
like 20
Grandpa.
years. It was like 20 years ago. Stop that.
I say you won't be dad no more. I think you're grandpa now, man.
Fuck right up. I know. Look, the Just for Men wore off. So now.
Oh my God! And speaking of old,
Well, here we go. Here we go.
I totally was in a place where I am afraid to talk to people now because I feel like the words that meant something when I was growing up mean something totally different now. And now I feel like I'm going to offend everyone
Oh,
and I'm afraid to say stuff. So I feel like older people kind of get to that point where they get confused because they don't understand the current lingo and music and all of that. So I now officially feel old because I don't understand the lingo. I watched a video of a guy talking the way that the Gen whatever the heck is going on now. Gen Z. Is it Gen Z now?
No, it's Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha.
We're in Alpha.
Gen
now?
Alpha, their speech pattern, like the way that they speak, I didn't understand a word that man said.
Skip. Well, who's speaking Gen Alpha? A young guy?
Yeah, he made a video and he went to a grocery store and he spoke like this entire thing into the like the overhead system,
Yeah.
and he was speaking to his kids who are Gen Alphas.
Skibbity Ohio Riz, that type of stuff.
What is that? I don't get it.
The other one, Sigma, right?
Sigma, yeah. Sigma Ohio. Yeah.
What?
So, I don't know.
I'm like,
Thomas
I
knows
don't-
all that. I
Yeah.
think that's too. I think your kids are too young. Well, maybe Mia.
Mia.
If she knows it, but like the other teenagers are too old for that. I think
No,
they
they're
look at those
too
kids
old.
like they're like
No, they think they're
disgusted by
dumb.
them.
Yeah, they think they're
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
So after
What?
school, I got Thomas from school the other day, and he was with one of his hockey friends whose dad is a principal who was just there to pick him up, and he's a cool guy, Jack. And they're like, "Let's roast my dad," the one kid said. So they're roasting this guy, and so like, "You're so fat." Scale said to be continued, like stuff like that, you know. and then
That's still going around.
I guess so. And then Thomas busts into his, and he's like, he starts this like speed Gen Alpha saying like, "You're Skibbity Ohio, you fucker." And I'm like, "Whoa, dude, you're dropping F-bombs." I'm like, "That's Ryan's dad. He's a
Too
principal."
far. Too far.
And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "No, you can't say." He goes, "I meant to say freaking." I'm like, "Dude, you got to stop doing that. You're 9, you know." So, new generation, new lingo. I don't get it.
I heard the next generation is Generation Beta.
Yeah, that makes sense after Alpha. But who wants to be called a beta?
I know.
I don't know.
I think
We're
Audrey
gonna
said,
all be the fighting fish.
yeah, there you go. Oh, those stupid fish that don't die.
Oh my God.
They don't. Oh my God, they don't die. I've killed like a million of them. They don't die.
Beta fish? I have to confess, when your kids were up here and they went to the carnival and won, they one fish, Molly and Julie and Mia and Aubrey, and
Did you kill them all?
they're not with us.
Did
But,
you flush it?
I was in Florida and in South Carolina, and I don't know what happened to them, but they're not with us anymore. So please don't tell the girls if they're listening.
No.
Hello there. How are you?
Good. It's morning still, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you know, that is a southern accent right there.
It is. Texas. Yes, indeed.
I was gonna say, didn't you spend some time in Texas in the military? Or were you...
I did. I was stationed in Texas for a moment in time, a moment in history. San Antonio.
San Antonio. Okay. My husband was at Fort Hood. It's now called Fort Cavazos.
So much is changing. We were just discussing the things that have been changing over the years. Look, now they're changing the freaking forts names too.
Yeah, I
They're
thought that
changing
should be
everything now.
inappropriate to rename it, but unless it's some, special significance to renaming it. But he even asked me, he said, "Babe, what's Fort Hood called now? And I'm like, you should know, of all people, bro.
Skibbity Sigma.
I have no clue what he just said. He could be cursing at us, and I would not know.
He's like, I don't know what
I
I'm
don't
saying
either.
either.
Hi, BJ. I'm Audrey.
Hi, I'm Jen. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, ladies, and gentleman Tom as well. It's so nice to meet you guys. I've been listening in and going down the rabbit hole a little bit. So cool, so cool.
Our rabbit holes can be super fun. For instance,
They are.
today, I am coming to you from the side of the road.
Well, I hope that it's nothing like a flat tire. I tend to just go off on tangents, but I hope it's not a flat tire or something, and it's just you pulling over and enjoying the scenery. Okay, good.
It's just me being in my moment, deciding I didn't want to do anything from home, and I wanted to be on the road.
I love it.
Plus, I was hungry, so I got
What'd you get?
I got a sausage, egg, and cheese on a biscuit. Yes, I did.
I love it. Did you see that they recently put steak breakfast sandwiches back on McDonald's menu? And I was like, I don't want a steak from McDonald's.
Oh my God, that's exactly what was going through my head. I'm like,
Steak and McDonald's, no.
we can't wait to learn more about you.
Oh, goodness.
We're reading all about your bio and seeing the struggles that you've had to face and conquer and get through.
Really?
Single motherhood is a huge deal, and we'll say, see, and this is what I mean, everything changed. Single parenthood, because there are single fathers out there as well, and I've met some, and it's such a challenge. Navigating the waters on your own and doing all the things that are now so discussed that people don't realize we just don't have as much time as they think we have to do it all.
Yeah,
A lot.
for sure. Yeah, definitely. It's difficult. And sometimes when I see or hear certain things about a single father, my heart goes out to them even more, because I feel like, not to take anything away from us women, but I just don't know that they innately know how to handle things like we do. So I'm like, oh, this poor guy. Let's get him some help.
He needs a hug.
He needs a hug.
So tell us about you.
Oh, goodness. When you said we were so excited to, as we were reading your bio, I was like, me? I'm boring.
Not at all. We all have a story to tell.
Oh, goodness. And I just really had to start reflecting upon my story, because once your story changes, you can sometimes forget that that's your story. But so I had twins at the age of about 20 years old, right? I was done with high school. I was in college, not at a college where you're staying on campus, but I still lived, I had my own apartment, working full-time, going to college full-time. And when I found out I was pregnant with the twins' father, we were kind of happy. He was happy. I was shocked. And when I found out it was twins, it kind of lit a fire under me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this, like, one baby's one thing, but two babies is a totally different story, right? So our relationship started to fall apart. I honestly, looking back, I think it just scared the crap out of him that she was going to have two babies. And so my parents said, you know what?
It scared you. It scares everyone. That's a lot.
It's a
A
lot.
lot of work. 2 babies is a lot.
You're already worried you're going to mess up one.
I think it
Then you got to do 2 at once.
I think it really set in that I was in over my head when they were in the little babies and they were in the swings, and one swing would be up in my face and the other one would be back, and then it would just do like this, and I'm like, there's always a baby in my face. But so I came back home, and thank goodness my parents were such a blessing and such a help, but I continued to work full time. And it was almost as if I had something to prove. I was like, I don't want to be another statistic. I don't want to just be on the system. I've got to take care of my family. But what I found out is that it was really hard to get help and get assistance when you're working because you're being told you make too much.
Too much money.
You make too much money. And you're like, where? Show me where I make too much money, right? So I remember I had one person pretty close to me say, you know what, Vanecia, you just need to stay home with your babies and get welfare for a little while. And I was like, no, I can't do that. You know, that was like a cardinal sin in my mind. I don't know why, because I don't think it's a bad thing, but I didn't think that I wanted to do that. So I continued to work and stress myself out because, again, I felt like I had something to prove. Well, so the reason for the Aspire nonprofit that we're just starting up is to help those single parents who are stuck in that middle spot, just to motivate and encourage them, because it's incredibly frustrating when you are working full-time or part-time. You're trying to be that provider, and it's already tough to make ends meet. And then when you try to reach out for help, even for things like Christmas gifts, because I don't feel like any child, I don't care what your religious background is, I don't think any child should wake up on Christmas Day with no presents. I never woke up on Christmas Day without any gifts, but that's just something I feel really passionate about. And I want children to experience that, right? So anyway, back to the parents, you know, it's just incredibly frustrating to try your hardest, and then you try to reach out for support, and you just can't get it. You can't get it. You make too much. You're like, where?
I've been there.
Please show me on my check where I make too much.
And it's very overwhelming because you don't want to admit that you need help, because you want to prove that you can do it on your own, and you really believe that you can, and you're trying, and you're working, and you're trying to figure out childcare, and you're trying to raise human beings to be good people, and you finally cave and go, okay, I can't do this on my own. Like, childcare is this much, and rent is this. And you do go, and to have their response be, well, we would just take your child support.
That part. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, okay, but what are you giving me in return? Well, we give you Medicaid. But you're giving me that now, and I have my child support. So what are you giving me that will help me change my situation? Like, I'm trying to get out of this.
Yes.
And they're like, no, we would just take your child support. It's basically you paying us back for giving you Medicaid. So it's like, how do you justify that? Like, how are you telling me that me trying to get myself out of a hole, you're going to put me in a bigger one by taking what additional help I do have?
Yeah.
And I think I made too much by $25.
To add insult to injury, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's go take a $25 pay cut, or take $25 out of my account, and then you'll help me, right?
Yeah, or
Yes.
quit your job, and then all of a sudden they'll help you, and they'll pay for everything, and it's just ridiculous.
And sometimes the process in and of itself, just applying for some of these services, can be so stripping. It can be so, what's the word I'm looking for? It can really make you feel bad, because you're like, oh my goodness, I've got to give you all of this information, which I understand the information piece for the most part, but the process in and of itself can be so just dehumanizing or something. You know, I didn't like it. And I know that it leaves a lot of people discouraged, unmotivated, right? And people like you, Audrey, and myself, who went through that, and it pushed us to say, you know what, even though it's going to be hard, even though it's going to be difficult, I'm going to go this way, because I see what it's like to apply and be told I make $25 too much. See ya. You guys will never see me in your office again. But what about those people who are still struggling with that? They didn't have the strength that you and I had to kind of push through and see and believe that there's more on the other side. What can we do for those people?
And that's what your organization is about.
We trying to. We're just getting started, but I hate that you went through that, but it.
I hate that anyone has to go through that, especially, you know, you're here. There's no reason. There's so much out there that gets squandered. There are contracts that are done that the bids remain where they are, not because it genuinely costs that much to do the work that they're bidding on, but because they need the budget to be at a certain level. Well, okay, but you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you will tell someone that's trying to make things work that they make $25 an hour for a day too much?
Yeah.
But and everybody knows how the structure is. They know that the jobs are getting overbidded. They know that you're talking these companies and businesses that are redoing entire offices that had just been done a year ago and throwing away brand new furniture for no other reason that they have to keep their budget in line. Why is it so hard to make that same thing become a non-issue by using that same money to help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some, I've been blessed to encounter some people along my way that get it. I remember once when the twins were probably 5 or 6. They are about to be 21 this month. Oh, goodness, it's October. Yes, that's a whole different season. But I remember applying for food stamps, and I remember saying, I know they're going to say I make too much, but I did it anyway. Something told me to do it anyway. And the lady who processed my application, she said, you make too much. But she said, I'm going to go ahead and make it to where you can get a little bit for a few months. And she said, if you're making the same thing in 3 months or whatever, when it's time to come back, don't even waste your time coming back, because the next person's probably not going to do it. But here, and that's it. That's all we're looking for, is somebody to throw us a lifeline sometimes. I made a little bit too much, but obviously I'm here. I need something. Please help us, and that goes to, it speaks to many times, if you're already in that space, you don't have a safety net. You don't have what's recommended, 6 months of living expenses for emergency. Most people don't have that. So you don't have that safety net. So if I'm here, I really need it, right? So thankfully, I've encountered people along the way who get it sometimes, but the system in and of itself is like, please, can we do something about this? Because this is horrible.
It really is.
It's frustrating as a parent when you know that you need this help and you can't get it, or just because of your situation. Like, I know for me personally, my husband passed away when my children were really little. So I was kind of being thrown into being a single parent. But I was lucky enough he had a good job. So I got a pension. Because I had that, I wasn't able to qualify for like insurance and stuff like that because I made too much money.
Yes.
And who's the determining factor of all of these numbers? Because they must not be in the real world. When the income you have doesn't even cover, like, their expectation is whatever you make for a month, that's a third of that is supposed to go towards whatever your rent is. So if you don't even have a living wage that allows you enough money to do that, how are you making too much money? Like, who is doing these numbers? Because I don't think that they've realized the current rental market. Because not everyone can afford to buy. Because unfortunately, you grow up in certain situations, you don't know about credit. And then it's like, oh, wait, I needed this thing?
Well, not even rent, but just food. Like, going to the supermarket, you get one bag of food now and you're paying like $200. Like, it's crazy. So,
and now the expectation is what? We don't do anything. We just stay at home in our rental that we can't afford with the food we can't eat.
Exactly. And, a lot of times it also speaks to, as a single parent, I had to learn, okay, girl, you need more than one source of income. This 9 to 5, it is not enough because, not to go off on a tangent, but one thing that I really learned, I still work in that fun. You like tangents, great. One thing, and I still work a 9 to 5 that I'm cool with. I love them to death. But one thing I learned about working a 9 to 5 is that you're putting all of your eggs in one basket, so to speak, and you sometimes give them power that you don't realize because you oblige to certain things and you go over and beyond in certain things and you stifle your own creativity and dreams. There's nothing against it. Like I say, I'm still in that world. I'm multifaceted, but you need, in my program, I'm teaching folks that you need more than one source of income. It's just good practice to not have everything focused right here. And that can look different from different people. It can, entrepreneurship, it can be investments, it can be a lot of different things. But as I learned to develop more than one stream or source of income, my confidence also grew. I don't talk crap to the people at my 9 to 5. I'm actually a supervisor, but in my mind, I'm like, look, y'all better not play with me. I
don't need to be here.
In my mind, I'm like, this is very good income. I still need it though. But I'm like, no, I believe in myself and I can make it happen if I need to, right? So, there's confidence to be gained in knowing that, I can do this. I can make different things happen. I don't just have to depend on one thing. And that's in life in general. You don't have to just depend on one thing.
I think having that drive is important. The drive to want more, because I know I saw that in my mom. She was a single mom who raised me, my brother, and my sister, and she had her typical 9 to 5, but then she also would go and at night work at the supermarket, and she'd work there until midnight. Every day she'd be there, so she wasn't home to do the home stuff with us, but I saw her working to have so that we had a nice house in a nice area. And, she always wanted to drive. She was very big on her BMW. So she made sure to be able to drive her BMW. She worked that extra to push herself because that was what she liked and what she wanted. So she pushed herself. But it's pretty cool to watch her. I know I got a lot from her, just seeing her strength.
I think what you said is really important, that drive. And that is so important to me. I try not to knock people who don't have it, but I feel like, come on, you got to be passionate about something. What is it? Let's dig. Let's find where that passion lies, that drive, because, we can help you. And I mean, people like us who, have some of those qualities, we can help point you. But if you don't have that drive, I don't really know what to do with it, right?
No, and it makes it difficult because I never stop. I'm constantly evolving and changing. I was a single mom with 3 jobs and then 2 jobs and then 3 jobs and 2 jobs. And I was always working and having moving pieces. I had 2 jobs in one company because they hired me in 2 different positions.
Wow.
I worked during the day. They were my 9 to 5. And then at night, I did promotional work for them at night. And then in between that, I did stuff. So I've always moved and worked and just thought, okay, it's great. I want to be able to do more. So to have someone actually approach me and ask me if when I go on vacation, if I can still pay them, even though they have 2 weeks vacation and a normal 9 to 5 job with me, I was baffled. To even have the audacity to approach someone and request that they pay you for time that they're not working.
Yeah. Be real.
But unfortunately, not everyone has that same drive. Not everyone has that same initiative of okay, this isn't working. What's next? Or let me keep at this, see if I can get it to work 6 months. I started a business and did not make a dime the first 7 months. A dime. And I had no job and I had more kids, had a million babies. But I still made it. I just kept going, but I kept on doing other things too. And I was just like, well, I can't. What's going to happen if I stop?
You know what? And it's so funny that you say that. I finally sat down and took the Enneagram yesterday and found out, I really don't want to say it because you guys are probably going to be like, found out I'm a type 6. And apparently the buzzword around us type sixes are there's a lot of fear and worry. And there is, I'll be honest with you, you know, I do tend to worry a lot, but I feel like it kind of drives me. There's a lot of things that are fear-based, like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm not just going to act, I'm going to think of, you know, this outcome, this possible outcome, this possible outcome. Then I'm going to make a decision, right? So that really kind of opened my eyes as to why I do the things that I do sometimes, and the drive behind wanting to have more income, because it's a fear that I'm not going to have enough, right? It's a fear that I'm not going to be able to meet the needs for myself and my children, which at this time they need to be meeting their own needs. They're about to be 21, right? Get out. No, I'm just kidding.
They come back.
No, I understand. My daughter just moved out, and I was like, you know, you don't have to move. Please don't go. And she's like, oh, Mom, I have to. And she's it's like she has something to prove too. I guess she got it for me. I'm like, girl, stay at home, save your money. She has more money than I do. She's really good saving. My son, he's the opposite. He's like, yeah, I'll be here for a little while.
They're fraternal twins?
Yes, a boy and a girl. Mm-hmm.
So you had, wait, so now on top of having two babies at once, you had to deal with having a boy and a girl at once.
Oh, yeah. And the only thing
because they're totally different worlds. Different worlds.
Yeah. That's the most important lesson that I learned. Having both of them same age, twins, but two different people, you got to treat them completely different.
Yeah.
But the thing that saved me in, you know, not getting too stressed out about it, my aunt, I have twin cousins that are 3 years older than me, so not that much older than me. When she went into labor, she thought she was having one baby. She delivered the first twin, and 30 minutes later, something doesn't feel right. Guess what?
30 minutes?
Well, maybe, yeah, I forget the exact time, but yeah, about 30 minutes, something like that. The urge to push came back, and guess what? Congratulations. Here's the baby number
baby.
2.
Oh my
She didn't know. She had no idea.
Oh my God, was she wondering if there was another one? Did she get scared?
No more.
Thank God.
Cross your legs.
No, I wouldn't. Yes, y'all got to do something with this other baby. I'm not taking 2 babies home. I wasn't prepared for this. Fire station, here we come.
I came here for one.
I came in for one. So I did have a little time to prepare, unlike my aunt. Little time.
Little. She didn't even have a chance to prepare for the fact that she is...
Just like, surprise, another baby.
Yeah. My mom said, we had to leave and go get an extra car seat. And I said, well, congratulations, you win.
I mean, at least they were at the point when there were car seats. I have people talking about, I remember when I used to just get in the car with my baby and sit in the car in the back seat holding it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Times have changed. I remember when growing up, we could sit in the bed of a truck and you guys. I don't think you can do that anymore.
Oh, wow. I remember my mom had the car with the long front seat, and I got to sit in the middle of like the driver, the passenger,
with
and
a
I
little
would
hump in the middle.
It wasn't even a hump. It was a long seat, and I used to press the lighter thing, and because it would like you didn't push it in, it would like pop out.
Yes, those were the days. Oh my goodness. I remember, growing up, it used to be so amazing. These kids these days, they don't get to experience all the fun stuff that we did. I say we, I just assume that you guys are my age.
Oh my God. I loved playing football with all the other kids in the community, just like on a day. It didn't have to be a special day. You were just outside and it's like somebody had a football and then it went from 3 people to like all of a sudden there's 20 of you playing a game and you even start getting a little sideline cheer going on. And then the lights came on and then everybody scattered like cockroaches because it was time to go home because the street light was on. Like I miss those days and I fucking sound so old.
My kids never had to drink out of a water hose.
Oh my
When-
God.
Look, Audrey and Jen know what I'm talking about. Tom's like, water hose? What is she talking about?
No, we drank.
The city.
We drank out of we drank out of the hoses all the time, all the time, no problem.
They're the tar babies. What was that? Y'all would like, wait, no, I know that your boy did it. They'd lay on top of the buildings to get their tan.
to get
The
their
baby
suntan.
oil.
Absolutely. No, we didn't. I was in Jersey at that point, but no, we drank out of hoses. We did in our car. We had the station wagon. We had a beat up old station wagon. We had the backpack, so it was like basically sitting in the trunk.
Face down.
You face the other way.
My mom
Like-
had one too.
We're like, Mom, Dad, can we sit here for 3 hours on the highway? Like, yeah, sure, whatever.
And you'd like wave and make faces.
At everybody you pass. Now it's like if our kids like, put your seatbelt on, they'll come get us. Like, I don't know, maybe we're making our kids nuts. I don't know. So like yourself, she grew up a chunk of her life in Georgia. So I didn't have the southern accent hasn't come out yet, but it's there.
Oh, yeah. So I used to say, because everywhere I go, and my daughter included, they don't do this to my son, but me and my daughter, every time we leave the state, they say, where are you from? And sometimes even in the state, that just goes to show how southern we are. We can sometimes be at home and people say, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Texas.
My
But-
brothers actually still live down there.
Really? Okay.
So they have the southern accent, and I find it hilarious.
Yes. I've kind of embraced it for a while. I used to feel like, oh, I don't want to be different. I want to blend in. But especially when I'm out east, it's like a radar. As soon as I open my mouth. When I'm out west, and I like to go to Nevada a lot, California, I don't hear it as much when people ask me. But east, oh yeah.
There's no filters on the east side. That's why.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking? Oh, you know what I'm thinking because it just came out of my mouth.
Exactly. I love it. I love it.
And VJ, I know one of the important things in your life is travel. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah. So I love to travel, but I'm not an adventurous travel. I'll find a place that I love and keep going there. Maybe it's that fear thing again, but so we just came back from Las Vegas, and I go there at least once a year, sometimes multiple times, thinking about moving out there. My husband, who I've only been married to about a year and a half, I've got him on board. I've shown him some things in Nevada, and he's like, "Yay, we can move out there!" But so we love Nevada, we love Florida, and so. Of course, my husband served in the military. He was able to travel or go different places worldwide a little bit. I've never been out the country, right? But I haven't been in the rush to. And everybody's like, oh, you need to go to Jamaica and you need to go. No, I need to go where I want to go, right? But I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and bust that cherry. Can we still say that? I'm going to bust that cherry and take a cruise. Now, I want to go on an Alaskan cruise, and my husband's like, you don't like the cold. Like, so what? I don't have to be outside the whole time. I can, what? Like, we gonna do this. But so the first cruise, we are going to cruise out of Galveston, Texas, right? Because we have a port, 4 hours from here. I'm going to do that at the beginning of the year, and we'll see. We'll see. But
that's awesome.
I feel like we got so much in this country to do and see. I mean,
there is. Like, I want to go to California and drive through a tree.
Oh my God, the
Me
redwoods
too.
are beautiful. I lived in California for about a year, and we lived up in the redwoods, and the view.
I want to do that.
I just asked my daughter last week. I said, can we do the redwoods for our next mom-daughter trip? And she said, yes, we can. I said, please. And we're big Twilight fans, and I know the Twilight wasn't but yeah, it gives us that same vibe, right?
We could always just drive up the coast too, because that's a beautiful ride too. Going up towards Big Sur and all that in California is beautiful.
I took my family to Valley of Fire when we recently went to Vegas, and they were like, "Oh, this is the kind of stuff you like to do." I said, yeah, I like parks and
Yeah.
it did. Yeah, so it's rather beautiful.
Parks.
Me too.
I was actually on my way to a waterfall, but then I realized I wasn't going to make it in time.
And you can drive to parks, which is an added bonus. You can drive to all these places in the U.S.
Oh, yeah, Tommy won't get on planes.
My supervisor, she's the same way. She will not get on a plane, and I get it. Yeah.
I ruined it for him, though, because I flew his family down to Florida, and now they know that it doesn't have to take 3 days.
Non-stop flight.
She's not.
Yeah, 2 hours. It's great.
That's all true.
They're like, what? And we're already here?
That's all true. Yeah. Even my son's like, how are we driving to South Carolina? We could just fly. I'm like, I said, call Aunt Audrey. She'll fly you. We're driving.
My son's so bad now, he won't even fly if there's a layover.
Oh, I will not do a layover.
Layover.
Absolutely not.
No, you guys taped a good episode from the Hartsfield Airport in Atlanta.
That one was fun.
But yeah,
We had an episode at a layover.
Oh,
It was cool.
Hartsfield, Atlanta is something else. It's like a different city or something. And I would think DFW, it's kind of the same, but it's not, But yeah, Hartsfield, Atlanta, you got to be prepared to hang out there. But
Airport in Singapore. Was it Singapore? Yes. Stunning.
Oh, really? Look, now
You could just go there to stay there.
I've
you
got some
can
really
stay there
good
for-
things about Singapore. Mm-hmm.
It's stunning. So worth it. If you can get it into you to go to like Singapore. And I travel a lot, but I do have that fear of like what's gonna happen. I watched Hostel too many times, and now I keep thinking that someone's gonna take me, and I'm just gonna be that naive American that doesn't realize they're being kidnapped. So I do get very scared about going to certain places. But Singapore, I was like, can I live here? Do I have to go back home? I didn't want to come back.
So I have to tell you guys about one of my adventures this year in traveling to Florida. I told my husband, we're going to do something different. This has been on my to-do list. Let's mark it off. And he's a good sport sometimes. And it was kayaking. And
Love kayaking.
girl, oh my God. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Please do not take offense to this. I don't know if kayaking is for Black people. Let me tell you.
I haven't done it, so now you're getting me scared.
Oh, well, you're going to end up like my daughter, Kylie, because you're like her mom, so you're not going to be able to do it. I'm telling you.
Audrey, I do not want to scare you, but I want you to be prepared, okay? Jen, just let me get it out. So, and my husband said, maybe we would have had a better experience if we were kayaking on a lake or, a calm river, but we were in the ocean, right?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
The guy who's our instructor, he's like, you guys are going to be fine. Okay, you see that over there? Don't go over there, okay? And there's a couple right before us. They made it look so effortless. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to do it too. He said, okay, you go over here. There's 3 islands. You feel free to go to all 3 islands. And I'm looking, those islands are way down there. And in my mind, I said, we're not going to make it to either of those islands, but we'll give it a shot. So we get in the kayak, and the very place that he told us to not go, guess where the water starts to push? So it's carrying us out this way, right? And I'm like, oh shit. And for some reason, my husband got the bright idea to put me in the front. So I'm panicking. He's like, babe, you're splashing water all over me. Calm down. Please calm down. The instructor, he's standing up on the rocks. Guys, wait, just stop. And my husband said, well, we're going to crash into the rocks. He said, just let it crash. Just crash. Just calm down. So I'm sitting there trying to gain composure. And he's trying to re-inspire us. Okay, guys, just take a deep breath. You'll be fine. And my husband's like, she's splashing. She's losing control. I said, you know what? It's over. I want to come back. He said, no, you can do it. You can still make it to the island. Nope, there's no island, bro. I'm not going to the island. Help me. How do I get out of this?
So what was over, the marriage or the kayak?
Both. No, I'm just kidding.
This is Tommy on a plane.
100%. Can confirm.
And got out of that kayak and he said, that's why I went to the Army and not the Marines. I'm like,
I mean, they are called dope on a rope for a reason.
so I hate that was my experience because I love the idea of kayaking, but
I feel like maybe not in the ocean. I've gone on lake and I've gone in like mangrove. I am not the best.
Oh no, I'm not going in water anymore.
I can get through, but calmer water is a lot easier to kayak through. I know. We took my daughter. So for a few years ago, I went with my daughter, one of her friends, my son, and my two sons, and my husband. We all went kayaking, and I was doing great. But I had my older son with me, and he was like, I didn't even have to paddle. We were like beating everyone.
Your older son is huge.
Yeah, he's 6'2", so I had him just like pretty much. He was like my motor. It was great.
Oh.
And my daughter and her friend went in one, and they couldn't figure out that you one has to go one way, one the other, so you can go straight.
And you got to make like a swooping motion too.
Yeah, no, they were paddling against each other, so they were going in like a circle, and they started fighting with each other. So my husband had to untie his shoe and tie his shoelace onto theirs, and he anchored them to him. So him and my other son were pulling the girls while me and Dylan were out. We went by the water. We left them. We went to the lighthouse. We had a great time. I thought kayaking was
that's the experience that I was looking for.
Yeah, the other people
I feel like we totally fell into the stereotype because all of my family, my Black family, was like, kayaking, you shouldn't have had your ass out there anyway. And I'm like, kayak is for everybody.
You just need a 6'2" guy behind you pushing you.
Yes. And you're right, Jen. My daughter, she has been kayaking on the lake, and she said, Mom, I didn't have those problems. I had a good experience. So I think you're right. I'll give it a shot.
The ocean, I think, that's more like, level 3. I feel like
that's like going back down the Black Diamond.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's always scary too.
Yeah. So next time it's jet skis.
I tried that. That
and
scared the crap out of me.
And
jet skis too.
I felt like I was gonna fall off, and I'm afraid of the things that are in the water, so that's why I don't want to get in the water. And then, I get a video yesterday of the pool in Florida, and it's got what looks like a dragon to me in it, swimming around with a tail that's about as long as my body. And I'm like, no, this is it. And could you imagine that's what's in the pool? In the water you can see? What's in the water you can't see?
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, the ocean is scary.
Yes.
It's scary. It's a scary place.
See, I'm not meant for the water. It's beautiful from a distance.
From a distance.
That song was made for a reason.
Yep, it's all about taking photos by the water. So I got a really nice photograph of me in the kayak, and you thought I got it done.
Yes,
but
that made it all worth it.
You're like, I'm a kayaker. There you got a picture to prove it.
Right.
Kayaking's all inclusive. Look at this awesome photo.
Yeah. Like, yep, I did this. Bucket list.
Well, at least you tried it. That's most important.
Yeah, it is. You got to try.
We've had such a great time with you today on Rule 42, and we would love to know how people can get in contact with you, whether it be for the non-for-profit or just kind of to get to know you better, because you are an amazing woman, and I love what you're doing, and it's so important. And coming back to something that you had brought up earlier with the children and making sure that they didn't miss out on things, what people miss out on is when you help those parents that are in that middle ground, you're not just helping the parent feel a sense of relief and have a a backup, it's that child's life that you're changing as well, because you're providing experiences that, or you might be saving them from experiences, like hearing their parents crying about not having food or having the electricity turned off, because the reality is situations like this do exist. So thank you for thinking of those people. And how can people reach out to you?
Oh, thank you. I love the way you articulated that. I may have to use that as a headline. So thank you. You can reach me at aspirenonprofit.org, info@aspirenonprofit.org, or on social media. Look, Jan is distracting me.
Sorry.
I can't even do my
Did it? I was like, yes.
plug.
She's got it. You're on a roll.
I know. Yeah, I got this. No, seriously, guys. But if anybody wants to reach me about Aspire Single Parent Network, info@aspirenonprofit.org. Any questions? We just recently applied for our 501c, so we're just waiting to hear back on that, so that all donations will be tax deductible once that is approved. So we're just looking to make an impact, just like Audrey said, to provide experiences for children or save them from an experience. I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
1, 2, 3, 42.
Cool. Ian. Look,
Wrap.
this whole time, look what was going on in front of me. A whole construction crew started. They were where that 35-mile-per-hour sign is.
Yeah, I saw you kept looking. I saw you're like,
Oh my
what's
God.
going on here? What the fuck is going on here?
Because I was like, am I going to have to back up or move? Because I thought they were getting closer to me, but then they started moving further. And I was like, oh, okay.
No, they have to put the signs a certain amount of feet from where
Well,
they
but
start
they had,
picking
they're,
and
I
up.
think they're picking up the grass. I meant the leaves. So you see, they started at the 35. Because you did that whir. It was the machine picking up the leaves. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Well, like the vacuum. It's
Where'd the hikers go?
the trail.
That way. They're on the
That-
trail.
That's a trail that goes down to Georgia and up to like Maine, right?
Yeah. The
That's pretty
Appalachian
cool.
Trail goes all the way.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. They
How long?
are. It's
One
so
of
funny, though,
them.
because the motels, whenever the ones that are always vacant, when it's a storm, all of a sudden they have no vacancies.
And speaking of storm, Florida is
Well, I was supposed to go home today, but there's no flights going down there. And then I was supposed to go home tomorrow, but there's no flights going out there. So I'm going home on Friday. But they were supposed to fly up today because I was still worried about what would happen in there. The flight took off. They did not end up on it because I guess it's in our area has been downgraded to a tropical storm. So there just didn't seem to be a point to fly back and forth. They're just all hunkering in.
Tampa's what, 3 hours from you?
Tampa is 5 hours from me. Orlando is 4. So Orlando's further. So Orlando's further north than me, and then Tampa is further northwest.
And that's what's going to get hit. Miami's
Yes.
going to be spared.
That's the direct path.
And get hit as hard.
Yeah. It's a little frightening, you know.
So
It's,
scary.
yeah.
Well, it's scary because I'm up here and they're down there.
Yeah, that's the
I think
thing.
it would be a lot different if I was with them.
Right. Oh yeah, Jen, did Gus get sent down to Florida?
Yeah, he just got home on Sunday night really late, and now he might have to go again to Florida, depending on how bad it is. So
Gus is a lineman, if people don't remember listening. He's
he's a lineman. Yeah, he was down in West Virginia. They said that there was like almost 100,000 people out of power.
Jeez.
It was pretty bad, but
Wow.
it was
Well,
pretty crazy. But
prayers
they
for
had up
everybody.
everyone.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works out and it just is way less imposing than they say, but we'll see. Hopefully people are okay down in Tampa and Orlando and Southern.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that are starting to get donations already, like to non-perishables and water and just different.
Let's hope so, because the government dropped the ball on the.
Well,
the
I
other-
know. I listen to Elvis Duran in the morning, and Froggy is down in Florida.
Wow, Jen just aged herself for the listeners.
I-
Elvis Duran, Z100.
I
morning
listen
show?
every morning. I love Elvis, and I will probably
I
go.
do too.
Oh my
and-
God!
They're
And
so funny.
Froggy is collecting like the stuff on tomorrow and Friday, and then
Right,
Monday and
Who-
Tuesday.
Froggy. Is that like a
He's
whack?
one of
That's
their
one of the hosts. His name is Froggy. So, but he lives in Florida, and he's gonna. And I know they got some trucks and stuff, and they're doing that. And I know my mother-in-law up here in where she lives in Dover. She's part of the American Legion, and she's collecting stuff. She told me to keep because I had a bunch of donations. I'm cleaning out my house, and she told me not to get rid of them because they're getting a truck to bring down
Awesome.
of
Yeah,
stuff.
people help. People
Yeah.
do great, and I just wish our leaders would help a little more.
I know. Sometimes we gotta pick up the slack where they don't.
Yeah, it seems like we're even in South Carolina, and North Carolina, that it seems like it's the people who are doing all the work, not
It
the
is,
not the government. That's the same. So
My
weird.
daughter's aunt lives in Georgia, and when that last hurricane went through, they just got power back yesterday.
that was like a week ago.
I know. They just got power back
Wow.
yesterday.
Yeah, people were showering in Walmart parking lots. They had those mobile showers because people didn't have water, and so it's so crazy.
Yeah, we should do better. And going back to VJ, we should do better for the people in our country, especially the single moms. It's so hard as it is. Like, where's the help? Why don't we all have free health care?
they don't.
Why is it
And why is it so skewed? Like, I really don't understand who's doing these numbers.
It doesn't make sense. I know when I got pregnant with Jax, I didn't have health insurance, and I couldn't get health insurance through the state of New York because I made too much money. And I was just like, I don't even want your food stamps or anything. I'm like, just help me with the health insurance, please. Having a baby.
We should be able to take in 2024. We should be able to take care of every American in this country. We should be able to give every single person health care. It's ridiculous what happens with big pharma and with insurance.
Other countries do it. Like other countries have.
They don't have pharmaceutical companies that run the show. And not to get too political enough to a tangent, but it sucks. We should be able to do better.
Yeah.
Audrey thinks so too. We should
Help
do better.
our people. Help
Yep.
our people, man.
Well, that's what
We
VJ is
are
doing.
Others.
That's what VJ is
Yes,
doing with her
and
company.
this is how people can start coming up and helping each other. This is how, if our structure is not working for us, then we have to be more at a local level helping each other. And VJ is definitely someone that's doing that, and we can appreciate folks like that
He's
because
inspiring.
they've experienced it, and they're getting ready to make things better for other people because they know what that road's like.
Yeah, that's hard.
And that's a wrap for today on Rule 42. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Audrey.
Jen. Oh, and Tom.
Peace out, Tommy.
That's your show. I'm just here for the ride. Thanks for
Yeah.
listening.